There will be a link in the description for the notes used in this video. This project introduces how to use the robotic arm RX-150 via ROS 2 software. The software will be running on a Raspberry Pi 4B. This is also running on Ubuntu 20.04. A good habit before we launch any software is to look at the robotic arm itself, as launching raw software might detorque all the joints and the arm could fall. So for part 1, notice that the robot arm is unplugged. To get started, we're going to use a brand new terminal, and we're going to start off with the source command. We're going to copy and paste using the mouse. The keyboard copy and paste functions do not work very well with terminal. I copy and paste this. And the use joint pub GUI, that is what's going to launch the joint state publisher. And now that we're here, we're going to make this window, the joint state publisher, more vertical and a little bit more horizontal. We're going to move it closer to the arm simulator. We're going to click randomize until you find a position that you like. You can always rotate this a bit. Notice how the joint state publisher disappeared. To make it come back, you want to make this a bit smaller, move it around, and there, we found the joint state publisher window, which is another window in itself. You can place it right there, and now we're ready for our screenshot. And to take a screenshot of Ubuntu, we're going to click Shift and then Print Screen. And that makes the mouse into a crosshair. We can now click, hold our area that we want, release, and there we have our screenshot. And that is all for part 1. For part 2, we're going to actually plug in the robotic arm. And notice the red LED illuminates on the arm. And we also want to check that it's in a safe position in case it gets energized and detorqued, which means it will fall. So now we're going to start off with a terminal. We're going to run the source command once more using the up arrow key. Now we're going to run this new code. In case you heard that, that means the joints were detorqued. It moved a very small amount, but if it was in the home position or very high, that may have caused damage. So here, we're going to go to the robot namespace. We're going to type in RX-150, click update, click it again. Next, we're going to click group name, all or arm in this case. Both work. I'm going to choose all. And now when I click home pose, both this screen robot and the real robot should both move to the home position. They both moved, and they can both go to sleep pose. Now, the next part of this, phase 2, is to run some Linux commands. We're going to make this window smaller. We're not going to close it, make it smaller. And then we're going to open a new tab. We need this original tab open as well. And in every tab, you have to run the source command. Now we're going to run the next phase of code. And this next phase of code, it only will adjust the angle of one of the joints. And when we paste, we want to make sure we got the whole thing pasted. In this case, we forgot the quotation mark. We hit enter. If that happens, that means we're missing one character. In this case, now that we have the correct code typed in, we can depress enter. And when it says publishing, we should turn to see the robot move. It moves a small amount. Now, if we change this last number to 0, it should move again. It's publishing, and it moved again. And now to go back to the application, we can go to sleep pose, and I should put it back. And that's it for this part. Now it's in a safe position, so we can close this window safely. We can close this terminal window as well. We're going to start part 3 now, and we're going to start with the good habit of making sure the arm is in a pretty safe position. And now we're going to open up our new terminal window. Up arrow key, look for the source command, wait for that to run, and now we're going to run this different command. And it's important to notice at the very end of this command is fake. What fake means is that we're not actually going to manipulate the arm at all. We're just going to run purely simulation software. Okay, and so you notice you have blue arrows, a red arrow, and you can manipulate this in 3D to look more or less the same direction the actual arm is. What we can do, come over here in the motion planning, we can set a goal state to the sleep position. And then we go to plan, we execute it, and you can see the arm going to the sleep position. And now it looks like the arm. We're not manipulating it, but I just wanted to make it look similar to that. And if you use this arrow, you can do any position you want, almost any position you want. Make sure you click it. That. You can always do plan and execute. You can see the arm move. Now that we know how this works, we can close this software. Close this window without saving. Close this as well. And the robot's still, we didn't move it, so it's still in a safe position. Grab a new command window. Up arrow key, source command, again up arrow, but we're gonna change fake and type in actual in lowercase. Hit enter. Actual means we're actually manipulating the arm. In case you heard that little tap, that means the arm moved a little tiny bit, and that sometimes happens when you launch software because it detorques all the joints. And that's why we make sure it's always in a safe position. So now, what we can do is pick a position we like that looks safe. This is very important that it looks safe. In this case, there's nothing around, or not much around the arm itself, but these other stations have a monitor pretty close by, and those arms might hit the monitor. At this point, now there's like a safe position. We're going to go plan and execute. And ideally, both the arm and the simulation should move. It doesn't work. Let me try one of the presets. So let's try home. And let's execute that. From here, we can use these presets to start with. You can select the goal to be home. Plan and execute. You can notice both on the screen and the robot move more or less at the same time. You can also choose a different position. You can make this go a little bit lower. Or can we zoom in a bit? Make this come. So I move it a little bit there. Let's adjust this to look like the arm itself. And now we're going to both plan and execute. If we look where it says joints, you can see the 5 degrees of freedom and their actual values. Now to put it back to sleep, choose sleep, plan and execute. Now it's in a very safe position. I can close the software, close this window, without saving, close this one, and that is pretty much it.